In this video, I'll summarize the plot of The Rime of the Ancient Mariner in about 4 minutes and give you an analysis of the story. Okay, let's get started with the introduction. The poem opens with an old sailor, the ancient mariner, stopping a young man on his way to a wedding. The mariner compels him to listen to a strange and tragic tale from his past. He describes how he and his crew set sail on a long voyage, initially blessed with good weather. However, they soon encounter a powerful storm that drives them toward the icy waters of the Antarctic. Amid the fog and floating ice, a great albatross appears, which the sailors take as a good omen. The bird leads them out of the frozen waters, and the crew rejoices in its presence. However, the mariner suddenly and inexplicably shoots the albatross with his crossbow, setting the stage for a series of disastrous consequences. At first, the crew is horrified by the mariner's senseless act, believing it will bring bad luck. However, when the weather remains fair, they assume killing the bird was justified. Their relief is short-lived. Soon the wind dies, leaving the ship stranded under the scorching sun. Water supplies dwindle, and the crew begins to suffer from extreme thirst. Realizing their mistake, the sailors turn against the mariner, hanging the dead albatross around his neck as a symbol of his guilt. The once promising voyage has now become a punishment, with the entire crew cursed for the mariner's actions. A ghostly ship approaches, carrying 2 spectral figures, Death and Life in Death, who gamble for the fate of the crew. Death wins the lives of the sailors, while Life in Death claims the mariner, condemning him to an existence worse than death. One by one, the crew members die, cursing the mariner with their final gaze. He is left completely alone, forced to witness their decaying bodies while unable to die himself. The mariner endures immense suffering, tormented by guilt and isolation. For days he remains stranded in silence, surrounded by the bodies of his fallen crew. He is unable to pray or find peace until he experiences a moment of unexpected grace. As he watches the water, the mariner notices the beauty of the sea creatures swimming around the ship. Instead of seeing them as grotesque, he is suddenly struck by their elegance and unknowingly blesses them. This act of appreciation breaks the curse, allowing him to pray once more. The albatross falls from his neck and sinks into the sea, signalling the beginning of his redemption. Rain falls, quenching his thirst, and the ship begins to move again, guided by supernatural forces. However, the mariner is not free yet. His suffering is not over. The spirits of the crew rise to navigate the ship, and strange forces continue to control its journey. Eventually, the mariner's ship reaches his homeland, but just as he nears safety, it sinks into the sea. He is rescued by a hermit and 2 men in a boat, but his punishment is far from over. The mariner feels an unbearable urge to share his story, which compels him to wander the earth, stopping strangers to recount his tragic tale. He warns the wedding guest, and by extension the reader, that his suffering serves as a lesson. The story ends with the wedding guest walking away, changed by what he has heard. The mariner's message is clear: respect nature, and all living things, or suffer the consequences. A central theme of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner is the burden of guilt and its lasting consequences. The mariner's impulsive act of killing the albatross brings immense suffering, not just upon himself, but upon his entire crew. His punishment, watching his shipmates die, enduring supernatural torment, and being cursed to tell his story forever, reflects the idea that guilt cannot be easily escaped. The albatross around his neck serves as a powerful symbol of the weight of his crime, showing that guilt can be an unbearable force. The poem also explores the relationship between humanity and nature, emphasizing the consequences of disrespecting the natural world. The mariner's killing of the albatross disrupts the balance, leading to divine punishment. His eventual redemption comes only when he recognizes the beauty of nature and shows gratitude for it. The supernatural elements, ghostly figures, reanimated sailors, and mystical forces reinforce the idea that nature is governed by forces beyond human understanding. Through this theme, the poem warns against arrogance and urges reverence for the natural world.